हरि गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवाय सुभद्रमाय जय सुदर्शनाय जय निताय चैतन्य जय निताय चैतन्य निताय चैतन्य जय निताय चैतन्य जय गौरांगी बेंगलोरेश्वर जय गौरांगी बेंगलोरेश्वर गौरांगी बेंगलोरेश्वर जय गौरांगी जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः हरे कृष्ण welcome to today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. We will be discussing from fourth canto, chapter 4 and verse number 10. Let's recite the verse. जगर्ह संसार विपन्नया गिरा शिवद्विषं धूमपथ श्रमस्मयम् स्वतेजसा भूतगणान् समुत्थितान् निगृह्य देवी जगतोऽभिसृण्वतः जगर्ह संसार विपन्नया गिरा शिवद्विषं धूमपथ श्रमस्मयम् स्वतेजसा भूतगणान् समुत्थितान् निगृह्य देवी जगतोऽभिसृण्वतः जगर्ह सामर्ष विपन्नया गिरा शिवद्विषं धूमपथ श्रमस्मयम् स्वतेजसा भूतगणान् समुत्थितान् निगृह्य देवी जगतोऽभिसृण्वतः हरे कृष्ण if anyone would like to recite welcome okay we will proceed with word by word meaning translation and purport by his divine grace Srila Abhay Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada की जय word by word meaning jagarha began to condemn. Sa, she, Amars Vipannaya, indistinct through anger, Gira, with words, Shiva Dusham, the enemy of Lord Shiva, Dhuma Patha, in sacrifices, Srama, by troubles, Smayam, very proud, Swate Jasa, by her order, Bhuta Ganan, the Ghosh, Samuthitan, ready to injure Daksha, Nigrihya, stopped, Devi, Sati, Jagataha, in the presence of all, Abhisrinvataha, being heard. Translation: the followers of Lord Shiva, the ghosts, were ready to injure or kill Daksha, but Sati stopped them by her order. She was very angry and sorrowful, and in that mood, she began to condemn the process of sacrificial fruitive activities and persons who are very proud of such unnecessary and troublesome sacrifices. She especially condemned her father, speaking against him in the presence of all. Purport: the process of offering sacrifices is especially meant to satisfy Vishnu, who is called Yajnes, because he is the enjoyer of the fruits of all sacrifice. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 29, also confirms this fact. The Lord says, Bhoktaram Yagyatapsam. He is the actual beneficiary of all sacrifices. Not knowing this fact, less intelligent men offer sacrifices for some material benefit. To derive personal material benefits for sense gratification is the reason persons like Daksha and his followers perform sacrifices. Such sacrifices are condemned here as a labor of love without actual profit. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. One may, so where is it confirmed? This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Several places. One such place is where Lord Brahmaji actually mentions when he is offering prayers to Lord Krishna after Brahma Vimohan Lila, then he says that it is like beating the husk which doesn't have any grain. And there are some other such references. One may prosecute the Vedic injunctions of offering sacrifices and other fruitive activities, but if by such activities one does not develop attraction for Vishnu, they are useless labors. The famous verse, right? Dharma sonishchita punsang vishwaksen katha soya na utpadiyad yadiratim shramevi kevalam. 1 to 8, right? One who has developed love for Vishnu must develop love and respect for Vishnu's devotees, right? If we love, Srila Prabhupada has given several examples, like if you love someone, then you would end up, or you would like his dog also, right? Master's dog also. Or other way, if you start liking or showing your affection to a person's dog, that person will also be pleased, right? So like that. One who has developed love for Vishnu must develop love and respect for Vishnu's devotees. Lord Shiva is considered the foremost personality amongst the Vaishnavas. Vaishnavanam yatha Shambho. Thus, when Sati saw that her father was performing great sacrifices but had no respect for the greatest devotee, Lord Shiva, she was very angry. This is fitting. When Vishnu or a Vaishnava is insulted, one should be angry. Lord Chaitanya, who always preached non-violence, meekness, and humility, right? Pranadapi sunichena, tarodapi sahishnuna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also became angry when Nityananda was offended by Jagai and Madhai, and he wanted to kill them. When Vishnu or a Vaishnava is blasphemed or dishonored, one should be very angry, right? So, little bit I will add here. Like generally, it is understood that we should be in Sattvic Bhava, right? In Satogun. Mostly or predominantly, we should be in Satogun, right? But then, Vaishnava, as Srila Prabhupada says, Vaishnava is above Brahmana, right? So, a Brahmanical quality is Samudama Tapa Shojam Chantir Arjavam, right? Jnanam Vijnanam Astikyam Brahma Karma Swabhavijam. But a Vaishnava, right? He will not or she will not consider, when a Vaishnava is offended, then she will not hold back his or her anger, right? So that is the difference, right? Normal Satoguna means don't be angry. But when Vaishnava or Vishnu is offended or dishonored or blasphemed, then that Satoguna is no longer valid. We should be take corrective measures, whatever is appropriate, right? Within our authority, right? Possibly. Yeah, otherwise, yeah, we will discuss later. Narottama Das Thakur said, Krodha Bhakta Dveshi Jane. We have anger. And that anger can be a great quality when directed against a person who is envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee. One should not be tolerant when a person is offensive towards Vishnu or a Vaishnava. The anger of Sati towards her father was not objectionable, for although he was her father, he was trying to insult the greatest Vaishnava. Right? There is another thing here that Srila Prabhupada has mentioned in first canto only, that relationship, relationship via the medium of Krishna is much more important or stronger than relationship of family bonds, right? So through so many angles, the anger of Sati was correct. It was justified. Yeah, he was trying to insult the greatest Vaishnava. Thus, Sati's anger against her father was quite applaudable. Not only valid, but it was applaudable. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयंरूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगन ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीन बंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। वेलकम एवरीवन। Yeah, yesterday I was going through some Acharya's lectures on a class on this, like His Holiness Devamrit Maharaj, His Holiness Bhanuswami Maharaj, and like that. So, yeah, why I mention my references, because I heard one quote of famous scientist Albert Einstein. He said that innovation means hiding the source of information. So I don't want to be innovative in that sense. Yeah, so whatever we know, we know all that is by mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Acharya Parampara, essentially, right? Before Prabhupada, after Srila Prabhupada, whoever are following Srila Prabhupada nicely. So they have kindly shared so many revelation realizations. So we just, we are fortunate that we go through that. First of all, it purifies me, and then I try to share yatha dhitam yathamati, right? As much as I could grasp. Anyway, so yeah, the sequence and context is that of this today's verse is that Prajapati Daksh, right? He is son of Brahma, and he has been created by Brahmaji to spread the progeny population throughout the universe, right? So throughout this universe. So Prajapati Daksh is not ordinary personality, but again he had like some misconceptions, and he actually felt offended when Lord Shiva was in an assembly where that assembly was there for observing the sacrifice that was organized by Prajapati Daksh only. And that time Lord Shiva actually did not rise, did not stand up, to pay his obeisances to Prajapati Daksh. So Lord Shiva did not rise, and of course Brahmaji also did not rise, because he anyway by relation also his father. But Prajapati Daksha took it as personal offense that Shiva is just Shiva in the name only. He just only his name is auspicious, and he is not wandering like a vagabond. He doesn't have any manners. He is my son-in-law, but still he does not show me respect. Why did not he get up? Just this thing he took as personal offense, right? But Lord Shiva actually later clarifies to Mother Parvati that I am always, remembering and paying my respects to Paramatma, Vasudev, right? So I don't need to, or I didn't need to pay my obeisances to his physical body. Prajapati Daksh is Dehabhimani, and he is like he gives value only to the material visible opulences. Of course, Lord Shiva is even the bestower of the all sorts of material opulence, but he does not try to enjoy material energy, right? So that is Lord Shiva's glorious position. His position is even superior to Lord Brahma, right? Even though Lord Shiva appeared through middle of the forehead of Lord Brahma, but Lord so that way we could one could assume that Lord Shiva is somehow junior to Lord Brahma, but position wise, actually tattva wise, Lord Shiva is superior to Brahma also. And what to speak of Prajapati Daksha? Anyway, so Prajapati Daksha, he was given the mercy or empowerment to spread the progeny, but sometimes we know, right, that we are not able to handle the grace or mercy which is given to us, right? Sometimes it happens. We all might have seen it, right? Whether in material life or in spiritual, like our progressive journey also, right? So I have felt about myself also, and I've seen like some instances, maybe my faulty observance, but I have seen like getting mercy is one thing, causeless mercy is one thing, but being able to handle it is with grace, right? That is different thing. So yeah, so he got the material energy and all that empowerment, but Prajapati Daksha was not able to handle it properly. Yeah, so he did not know the real position of Lord Shiva. Anyway, so let's try to understand some of the points. The first thing is why Prajapati Daksha was not able to handle, because he is still highly influenced by the modes of nature, and especially mode of passion, right? Passion is needed for creation and so, activities related to creation, right? So passion and a bit of ignorance also, right? So Prajapati Daksha is under the influence of passion and ignorance also highly, right? So in third canto, 29th chapter, where Lord Kapiladev, right? So he actually, so basically mentions, right? 29th, I think, yeah. So 329, 11, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's quickly see. And it's quite relevant, Verse text, English needed, translation, yeah, from 8. Yeah. अभिसंधाय यो हिंसाम दंभंग मात्सर्यम एव वा सनडंभे भिन्न दृग्भावम मयि कुर्यात् स तामसः. Yeah, means devotional service is one, but in its true form. But the worshippers, they might be under the influence of different modes of nature. So see, if someone is predominantly in the mode of ignorance, that person is also allowed to worship or approach Lord Vishnu or Krishna. But in the beginning phase, they might show these difficult to tolerate attributes, right? Envious, proud, violent, angry, right? A separatist, all this, right? Mode of darkness. Let's see. The passion. Vishayan abhisandhaya yasa aishwaryam evava archadav archayed yomam prithak bhava sarajasa. Here also we have prithak bhava. Here also we have some bit of bhinnatri, like similar meaning, right? So let's see. The worship of deities in the temple by a separatist with a motive for material enjoyment, right? Fame and opulence is devotion in the mode of passion, right? So in Bhagavad Gita also, of course, Lord has mentioned in 16th chapter, right? Divine and demoniac qualities, right? Let's see even sattvic worshippers who are in the mode of sattvic predominantly, right? Karma nirharam uddisya parasmin va tadarpanam yajed yashtavyam iti va prathak bhava sa sattvika. Here also we have separatism, right? Like not being one in one in purpose with Krishna or Vishnu, right? Like whatever is Krishna's desire, there is some separate desires, some separate desire is still being maintained, right? Essentially, but let's see translation. When a devotee worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offers the results of his activities in order to free himself from the inebrities of fruitive activities, his devotion is in the mode of goodness. See, even in the mode of goodness, right? Which we typically take it as very high elevated, but that is not transcendental. It helps, yeah, it helps us execute devotional service easily, but that is not the cause of devotional service. But anyway, let's see. Inebriety, yeah. So we can understand that Prajapati Daksha had some of these symptoms, right, which are basically coming from modes of like Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Satoguna, all that, right? So they are still these worshippers are still not basically following the or accepting the mood the way Krishna wants, right? That is, they are not following that, right? What Krishna wants, Krishna told Arjuna in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, right? Traigunya Vishya Veda, Nistraigunyo Bhavardhana, right? Nirdando Nitya Sattvasto Nirvakshima Atmavan, right? So anyway, point is, now see the worshipper who are actually above the mode, right? Above the modes of nature. Madhuguna Matrena Mai Sarvabhasaya Manogati Ravichenna Yatha Gangam Bhaso Ambado Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Nirgunasya Hi Udahartam Ahetuki Avavahita Ya Bhakti Purushottame. This Nirgunasya is quite relevant. So let's see the meaning what Srila Prabhupada says. Yeah, unadulterated, right? By modes of nature. Okay, let's come back to today's discussion. So I thought, okay, let's actually cover the translation. The manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is residing in everyone's heart. Just as the water of the Ganges flows naturally down towards the ocean, such devotional ecstasy, uninterrupted by any material condition, flows towards the Supreme Lord. Yeah. So this we know. As soon as, like, if someone is rising above the modes of nature, it's maybe short journey or long journey, depending on our intensity. So proportionately, we get attracted to hearing Krishna Katha more and more, right? And the source of that or the cause of that tendency to hear more and more Krishna Katha is discussed in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? First canto, second chapter, 16th verse, right? Susruso Sraddha Dhanasya Vasudeva Katha Ruchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat, right? Let's quickly see, because it's relevant. Today, like, some problem is described in today's verse, like 4, 10, 14, but 4, 4, 10, but we should know the solution also, right? 1 to 16. Yeah, this one. So Sraddhadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipraha Punyatirtha Nishevana. What twice one says is, by serving those devotees who are completely free from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva, right? Anyway, so now let's finally come back to our today's discussion. Yeah. So the thing is, we kind of understood that Prajapati Daksh was not freed from the modes of material nature, and he showed those symptoms, right? In long before this incident, when Mother Sati is actually basically rebuking, or is condemning her father, and long before this, when Prajapati Daksh took the offense, right? So both the times he actually showed his basically symptoms of mode of passion or ignorance. And there is another thing I came to know from yesterday's class lectures which I heard. Actually, Prajapati Daksh had instructed the priests and other family members that when either Lord Shiva or my attend Hare Krishna. Sorry, my internet was disrupted. I'm really, really sorry. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I was saying that I was mentioning that. Let me see if a screen can be reshared. Yeah. So thanks. Yeah. Yeah. So I was talking about that there is a normal crime and there is a premeditated murder, right? So that draws the highest punishment. So yeah, Prajapati Daksh will meet that same end, right? So anyway, so yeah, some points. So here it says that Prabhupada says Bhoktarang Yoga Tapsam. So he did not really, Prajapati Daksh did not really uh, understood this, internalize this philosophy, right? And his goal was to derive some material profit out of the sacrifices, whatever he was getting conducted, right, by the priest. Yeah. So the biggest thing, yeah, we already discussed this thing, right? But if by such activities one does not develop attraction for Vishnu, they are useless labors, right? The famous verse, better to recount that from 1 to 8. Dharma swanishtata punsam vishwakshen kathasuya. Notpad yadyadirati samevi kevalam. Yeah, very important actually. First canto, second chapter, all verses, at least translation or gist of translation, if we keep in our heart and mind, it will be very helpful. The occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the messages of the personality of Godhead. Yeah. So actually, some time back I was discussing with a devotee, what if someone is very perfect in his or her duties, right? Whether it's a government job, some business, or whatever, right? And one is perfect, not cheating at all, or not taking bribe, nothing like that, no? Perfect, very dedicated, committed. And he does not lie, he or she does not lie, he does not he does not harm others, all that thing, right? A so-called gentle or good citizen, a perfect citizen in today's time, right? Colloquial language. So what about that? What will be the destination of such person? Yeah, there are some descriptions that person might be elevated to, either higher planetary system or might even reach, what do I say? If he's not suffering from duality, then that person soul might even go to Brahmajyoti, etc., right? But the conclusion is this first, right? So what is the point? Eventually that person will fall down again, and we know that, right? Aruhya Krishna Patantiya. What is that? Let's recount that, right? So this all that is quite important to 32. Yeah. 10 to, yeah. Here near Arvindaksh Vimukta Manena Stoi Astabhavad Avishuddha Buddhaya Aruhya Krishna Param Padam Tataha, right? Patanti Adho Anardrit Yushmadangraya. So if one is not attached to service to Krishna, service to lotus feet of Krishna, all right, or Vaishnavas, then that person has to come back to material world again, right? Because the nature of the soul is Sachidananda, right? So that ever increasing bliss of the soul is not possible in Brahmajyoti. So then they again come down to material world and they perform all sorts of altruistic activities, right? So that's what. So point is, which I was trying to say was, yeah, such persons who are perfect in their duties, they might attain some higher destination, but they will again come back. So the purpose or the original, what do I say? The main goal of the soul, right? Being an association of Lord in any of the spiritual planet, that is not achieved. That's why it is called useless labor. Because otherwise we are going up and coming down, right? Whether in material world, higher heavenly planets, or even coming back from Brahmajyoti, right? Yeah. So the soul is, wandering again and again. So the natural or the constitutional position of the soul is basically serving the Lord, lovingly, and that actually gives ever increasing happiness. That's a very important point I came across. So that's the thing. It's not just very high bliss. No, it's unlimited bliss, but that is also ever increasing. That is what actually Anandambudhi Vardhanam, right? Vardhanam, it keeps on increasing. It's not never, stagnant. That is a very important point, And another point is, which I want to share. Uh, Sometimes one might think, who is not conversant with devotional service and other things, one might think that it looks like Lord is selfish, right? Vishnu Tattva, like either Krishna, Vishnu, Narayan. It might look like that he wants us to serve him, then only Lord will be satisfied, right? That might be one incorrect observation. The counter argument is that being God itself is not the highest achievement, right? In fact, being devotee of the God, devotee of Lord is higher achievement, right? That's why Krishna comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? So in the mode of devotee, right? Because he wanted to enjoy that rasa which he could not relish when he is in the mode of Krishna, right? That's why Lord comes as a devotee, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Further, we see that when Prahlad Maharaj, he has offered his prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev, and Nrsimhadev takes him on his lap, and then Lord Nrsimhadev also licks him, as a lion would lick his cub, right? Like that. So that time, I actually saw here in Siddhabakul, there are so many paintings, right? Inside, hand painted. One scene is that Prahlad Maharaj is being licked by Nrsimhadev, but Prahlad Maharaj is happier than Lord Nrsimhadev. So Lord Nrsimhadev is surprised. How come, my devotee is happier than me, right? So anyway, there are several such instances which actually proves that devotees, pure devotees, they enjoy even higher bliss than the Lord himself, right? So this proves that there is no concept of selfishness on the part of Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, right? So this is very important point, maybe while preaching also, right? So it's not that there is a shortage of a few thousand laborers in Vaikuntha that Lord wants us to go back there. Not like that. Yeah. Anyway, coming to some of the points of today's verse. Yeah. So it's a useless labor because by following any other process than devotional service, the natural or ultimate goal of the soul is not achieved. That's why it is useless labor. Temporary and inferior enjoyments are possible by working hard. But again, whatever the soul is hankering for, unlimited, ever increasing bliss, right? That is not possible by any material endeavor, right? So yeah, that is one point. And Prajapati Daksha's, just devotees, right? So he had some respect to some, Shraddha for Lord Vishnu, definitely. Yeah, Prajapati Daksha, he had that, some affinity to Vishnu. Otherwise, Lord Vishnu would not have appeared in his sacrifice later, right? In his next life also, like he performs, like in sixth canto it comes, right? Hansa Guhya prayers around that, yeah. So when Prajapati Daksha in next life, next Manvantar actually, I think 2 Manvantars later. Anyway, so Prajapati Daksha conducts a nice sacrifice for Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu appears there in his 800 forms, okay? And he gives the benediction to, he's pleased with Prajapati Daksha, he gives benediction, all that. So Prajapati Daksh has some, positive connection to Lord Vishnu, definitely, but he is not so respectful to Lord Vishnu's devotee, especially Lord Shiva. Even there, actually, Lord Prajapati Daksha, he, while offering glorification to Lord Vishnu, he mentions that you are not like Lord Shiva, who gives disproportionate punishment to small offenses. So indirectly, he continued his, criticism for Lord Shiva even later. Next, so these kind of things are there. Not easy to be free unless one really, really seeks forgiveness and works towards that. To be freed from malice towards some devotees. It's not easy to be fully free, but we have to work towards that. Right? I'm talking about myself, not for others. Yeah. So there have been several such occasions. Yeah, during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Sadhu Goswami was there, one famous pastime, I think most of us know, that when Rupa Goswami was in meditation, he was relishing the pastime of Krishna, Radha Krishna, from Golok Vrindavan, and he is visible here. He smiled or laughed, right? Something happened. So a lame Vaishnava, right? He was lame by one feet. He was walking through, and he noticed that Rupa Goswami is smiling or laughing. So this Brahmana took the offense that he is laughing or smiling at me. He went and complained or shared this thing with Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan Goswami says it's out of question that Rupa Goswami can be like this, that he can, ridicule you or he can make fun of anyone. So he's not like that. He's a great Vaishnava. Then he explained. Then Sanatan Goswami also goes in meditation and he figures out what was the pastime, what was the reason Rupa Goswami smiled or laughed. And he said that pastime of Radha Krishna and said, this is the reason Rupa Goswami laughed. Sanatan Goswami says this to this Brahmana. And then he says, okay. Then his malice towards Rupa Goswami almost got cleared, but not fully. Then both of them go to Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami and this Brahmana. And then what happens? they like Sanatan Goswami, this Brahmana pays obeisances to Rupa Goswami, and openly he opens his heart and he tells Rupa Goswami that I felt so, like you were smiling, laughing, and I felt so. Then Rupa Goswami accepts the thing, and he also says, no, I did not take any offense, all that. Anyway, even then, it was not fully clear. Then then what happened? To clear the malice from the heart of this Brahmana, what was the solution followed? Rupa Goswami spoke Krishna, he narrated Krishna Katha for 4 hours or more, like something like that, for hours, Krishna Katha. Then, by hearing that Krishna Katha from Rupa Goswami, then his heart became fully clean. So that's the thing. Again, we can go back to first canto, second chapter, 17th verse, right? Srinvatam Sakatha Krishna, Punyat Sravana Kirtana, Hridyantastoya Badrani, Vidhunoti, Suhrit Satam, right? So that's, let's recount that also. It's very critical, right? Sorry. So translation is, Srila Prabhupada's synonyms translation. Let's say Srinvatam. See, those who have developed the urge to hear the message of, what a meaning for one word. Only Srila Prabhupada could have given on bona fide acharyas, right? So like that. Anyway, so Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee. The Brahmana went and openly shared his heart, right? He revealed his heart that I'm still not feeling fully clean, right? So he shared that the truthfulness was there, right? And then what happens when he hears Krishna's pastimes? Then Krishna personally cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart and any such abhadra, right? So that Krishna cleanses. So I'm just correlating from this verse, but anyway, yeah. So that's the one incident. And here, Prajapati Daksha, when he planned all the situation, right? That when Sati comes, one should he instructed priest and other family members not to pay too much attention to her. Yeah, that provoked her anger. Anyway, so here we see, I was bringing one point. Why did Prajapati Daksha behave like that? Why did he have this mode of nature, or this? Why did he have this animosity towards Lord Shiva? Yeah, we discussed that because of mode of nature. Yeah, so that's the root cause here. Purushah prakriti sthope bhungte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangosya sadasya yoni janvasu. Right. So by associating with the mode of nature, we actually, or anyone behaves like that or acts like that, right? And that mode of nature is very strong, not easy to get rid of, or be free from that. The solution is only devotional service. Either we can be under Maya or Prakriti's domain, or we can be under Devi Maya's domain, right? Either external energy, Bahiranga Sakti, or Antaranga Sakti, right? There is no middle path. There is no middle in between. So just free from this, but not that is Brahma Jyoti, but they again fall down, right? So that is not a Brahma Jyoti is not a permanent forever destination. Yeah. So either in a stable state we can be either in Maya or we can be in Yoga Maya. Anyway, so that's the root cause. Yeah. A mode of nature, being afflicted with mode of nature, that's the root cause. That's the central point of today's discussion, which I want to bring out. So what is the solution? Solution is given in Bhagavad Gita itself, right? Devi hesa gunamai mama maya duratteya mame viya prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So by reverse logic, it becomes clear that Prajapati Daksh was not a pure devotee, definitely. He was not in Suddha Sattva, naturally. So what is the solution? How do we get above this? How do we free ourselves from this mode of nature? So that is described in 14th chapter, right? Bhagavad Gita 14th chapter. What Krishna says, last verse, right? Mam cha yo avicharena bhakti yogena sevate, right? That's famous verse, right? Sa gunana samti tetan brahma bhujaya kalpate. Yeah, this is the solution, simple solution of avicharena. Yeah, without fail. Yeah, let's see the translation. One who engages in full devotional service. Srila Prabhupada used this phrase several times, right? Several times throughout his books, whether it's pocket books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, or Chaitanya Charitamrita. This phrase is one of the most common phrase of Srila Prabhupada. Full Krishna consciousness, full devotional service, right? One who engages in full Krishna consciousness or full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. So to serve Parabrahman, we have to also be of that quality, that is Brahman, like free of mode of nature, right? So the solution is this devotional service to Krishna, right? So that's basics, like understanding, and this is a basic solution. Yeah, full devotional service. Yeah. So then what is the meaning? Does it mean that we have to give up all our occupation, like those who are householder devotees? Does it mean that they cannot be, they will not be able to rise above the mode of nature? Does it mean that? No, that's not the meaning. Yeah. Full devotional service means always in Krishna's service, at least mentally. So after our basic sadhana or the sadhaka bhakta, actually whatever our occupation, right? If we are doing it with the mentality that I am doing it on behalf of Krishna, right? And as Srila Prabhupada says, share the portion of your income for propagation of Krishna bhakti, right? So if we are in that mood, then they will also gradually rise above the mode of nature. Yeah. So the main thing is whether we continue to maintain our enjoyment tendency, enjoying the material nature tendency, right? Then that is the difference. If one continues to have that mentality, then not easy to, or not, then it's difficult to rise above the mode of nature, right? That's the thing. If everything is done as a service to Krishna, raising the family, on the occupation, and helping the preaching, that is anyway directly Krishna bhakti, yeah. So then there is a scope that even householders will rise above the modes of nature. Because, see, our Paramparacharya, who is our Paramparacharya? Brahmaji, like, is the starting. Otherwise, Krishna is anyway Vande Jagadgurum, right? He is the spiritual master, supreme spiritual master. But generally, we say that Brahmaji is our Brahma Madhva Gauriya Sampraday's founding Acharya, essentially, right? Brahma, Madhva, and Gauriya Sampradaya. So let's see what Brahmaji says in Brahma Mohan Lila, right? So, because there is sometimes I see there is a misconception being spread that, except brahmachari and sannyasi, others cannot be pure devotee, or they cannot rise above the mode of nature. So that is not supported by Srimad Bhagavatam, especially our founding, 10, 14, and 3, right? Yeah. Well, not 36, but 3. That is also relevant, by the way. See, what very relevant. I see it came like this. Tavad ragadestena, stavat kara griham griham, tavan moho angri nigado, yavat krishna natejana. As, see, simple translation. Let's read Acharya's translation. My dear Lord Krishna, until people become your devotees, their material attachments and desires remain thieves, their homes remain prisons, their affectionate feeling for their family members remain foot cycles. What does it mean? Conversely, other way around, that if they become your devotee, then these things are no longer impediments, right? That is also an understanding, right? So that's thing. See, Vrindavanvasi, they were all, anyway, we cannot compare easily to with Brajvasis, but point is, they were householders, right? Who were brahmachari in Vrindavan, right? Like that. Let's see third verse, right? The one which I wanted to bring as a reference, that it clearly says that it's not necessary that you have to be a brahmachari or sannyasi to become a pure devotee. That's not the case. See, Jnane Prayas, famous verse, right? Jnane Prayasam Udapasya Namanta Eva Jivanti Sanamukharitang Bhavdiya Vartam, right? Sthane Sthita Srutigadam Tanuvang Manobhe Ye Prayashojit Jitopyasi Tais Trilokyam, right? Let's see translation. Those who, even while remaining situated in their established social positions, throw away the process of speculative. We don't have to be a speculator. And with their body, words, and mind, offer all respects to the descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to these narrations. So basically, hearing more and more Krishna Katha, right? Which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees. Certainly, they conquer your lordship, although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone within the 3 worlds. So the gist is, if we hear more and more Krishna Katha, if we are attracted to hearing more and more Krishna Katha from pure devotees, then we will also conquer Krishna, means we will also attain Krishna, essentially, right? Like that. So yeah. Another thing, in third canto, in the entire 8 chapters of Sankhya Yoga, nowhere Krishna, Lord Kapil Dev mentions, the quality of a sadhu, a pure devotee, with the criteria as his, color of the dress, ashram, caste, etc., gender. Nothing is mentioned. Only the qualification, as we saw, 329, 11 and 12, Madhguno Saruti Matrena Mai Sarugohase. Right? So, why we are discussing all this? we were discussing that Prajapati Daksh is afflicted by modes of nature, mainly passion and ignorance a bit also, right? Because that's how he did not know the position of Lord Shiva. So passion and ignorance is there. Yeah. So how to be free from the modes of nature? By hearing more and more Krishna Katha and doing our basic sadhana, of course, chanting minimum 16 rounds and following four regulative principles. Yeah, this definitely leads us, it elevates us in our Krishna consciousness, and depending on our intensity, we will actually rise above the modes of nature. It's not something that only acharyas will rise or they are above the modes of nature. If that were the case, then there is no hope. Not everyone becomes acharya, right? Like in a formal acharya, I mean to say Diksha Guru, right? Like that. So if that was the case, then what is the point of, calling sadhana bhakti for the common mass, right? So we just have to sincerely chant our Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we just have to chant our rounds sincerely and basically follow the regulative principles and read and hear more and more Krishna Katha. And then naturally, it's some devotees say that this thing again I want to clarify. Some devotees say that just hearing is not sufficient. You have to act on that. That is true, but that is naturally born out of the power of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? It's not that separately we have to make up our mind that let's preach, otherwise we will not progress. It's not like that. How? Let's see the evidence of Srimad Bhagavatam itself. Yasyambe stroyamanayam Krishne parama purushe, right? Bhakti utpadyate punsaha shokamoha bhayapaha. Let's see the translation. Simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, just by oral reception, like very attentive hearing, right? Oral reception word is very important here. Yeah. The feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once, right? At once. So what I'm saying here, based on this sloka, that if we attentively hear Srimad Bhagavatam, which is so sweet, I feel it is the sweetest literature, okay, in my limited knowledge. Anyway, so if we hear it attentively by pure devotees, then immediately we feel like, let's share this with others. So it's a natural consequence of hearing attentively from a pure devotee. It's not that we have to put separate endeavor. No, this becomes the urge of the soul. It's not a mental endeavor or sensual endeavor or other things. Yeah. So I'm saying that just by hearing it attentively from pure devotees, immediately we want to preach also or share with others in a formal or informal way, either ways, right? So like that. By the way, Srila Prabhupada did mention on multiple occasions that in Navadha Bhakti, like what we follow, Sravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, right? So he says that out of these 9 limbs, if we follow even some or even one, then also we can become perfect. So even in fact, Parikshit Maharaj, of course, he was Rajarsi, he was devotee even within the womb. That's there. But the thing is, what is demonstrated by his example is that just hearing or any limb of Navadha Bhakti is complete in itself. Even chanting, it is mentioned by Acharyas. It is in our ISKCON literature. It's clearly mentioned that chanting Hare Krishna mantra itself, it encompasses all 9 limbs of bhakti. I was surprised, but pleasantly surprised, of course, that chanting Hare Krishna itself, it covers all 9 limbs. But then we feel happy after hearing Krishna Katha and we feel inspired to do some practical devotional service by our senses, right? Hrishikena, Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate, right? So like that. So that actual visible, or actual practical service also that we do, but that genuine service that is born out of hearing Krishna Katha and chanting. It's a natural urge which develops. Initially, for maybe in the very beginning phase, there also I have seen actually, not that they are doing it by force, right? They like it, right? That's why once they start coming to hear Krishna Katha, they keep on coming, right? And they keep on basically doing services, right? So yeah, we were discussing all this. We have been discussing that how to rise above the modes of material nature. Yeah. So its process is same. Mangcho yo avavicharena bhakti yogena sevati, right? So Bhakti Yoga is again, as soon as Bhakti Yoga word is mentioned, it means Sravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. The first stage is Sravanam. And Srila Prabhupada also mentions that famous place, right? 7, 5, 20, yeah. That if our Sravanam is perfect, right? Then we actually, somewhere it's mentioned actually in the purport only. See here. This is what I wanted to quickly bring to the notice of all of you. Everything can be perfectly performed simply through hearing, chanting, and remembering. So, if our hearing is perfect, then remaining 8 limbs of service, that will also be done perfectly by us. What is the meaning? Our consciousness will be perfect. Our attitude will be perfect, right? And Rup Goswami says, no, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on our attitude, right? So that attitude or consciousness, that is shaped by how much we have heard or how much we have read, in practically in today's time, Srila Prabhupada books, right? Or those who are basically following Srila Prabhupada nicely, by good sadhana and all that, good preaching, all that. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to share. Yeah, hearing, chanting, memory. And we know, right? So Parikshit Maharaj, you know what? He knew Gajendra Moksha also. I figured out later, okay, that he knew Gajendra Moksha as to pastime very well. But he says to Shukdev Goswami that I want to hear from you. So that is his hankering, hearing again and again from the lips of pure devotees. Yeah, that's the genuine, topmost quality of Parikshit Maharaj. He wants to hear again and again. Not only Parikshit Maharaj, I came to know from Acharya's lectures that whichever kings and personalities, big personality, great personalities, control, like kings, have been mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, they all used to arrange nice narrations of Lord Vishnu or Krishna's pastimes in their court, like Raj Darbar, right? So that was one main thing, right? So main thing in the court, like they will of course discuss official matters, but they used to actually hear a lot of Krishna Katha from by inviting sages or some other elevated devotees, in their court only. So that was like whether you talk about Shivi, King Shivi or Rantidev or any such kings, right? They have all had these common characteristics. Why they were able to act like that, which have been mentioned in Bhagavatam, some of their activities or pastimes, because they were so much Krishna conscious, full Krishna conscious. That was the core reason. So chanting and hearing, again, this is the solution to all things, and it is the foundation for all other limbs of bhakti. So that's what we have to chant our round sincerely, and we have to hear or read Krishna Kathas again and again. By repeated hearing of Krishna Katha, we develop attraction to Krishna. That is nicely mentioned in several places. One common example which I keep on sharing is this Sudurdarsam, Rupam Drishtavanasi Yanmama. Here, let's see. Yep. What Srila Prabhupada says. This is the actual Vedic process. And those who are actually in the Vedic line hear about Krishna from authority, and by repeated hearing about him, Krishna becomes dear. There is another example, like one who resides in Mathura Mandal or any Dham. So Krishna says that the power of that Dham is that whether that person is perfectly following the process or not, it's not about sadhana, like some Archana Vidhi. Krishna says that even if one is not perfect, but he has taken shelter of my Mathura Dham, he will become dear to me, I will become dear to him. So anyway, there are multiple angles, but our guidance, Srila Prabhupada's guidance is this, right? By repeatedly hearing about him, Krishna becomes dear. Yeah. Several places I mentioned. I just showed this quickly again, top of the mind. Yeah. So I will stop here. If there is any question, comment, rectification, correction, I'm happy to hear.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, very wonderful class. And you mentioned about devotional service in passion, goodness, and goodness, ignorance, and about the modes. And you told about devotional service, and you told about the importance of hearing of Krishna Katha.
Yes, correct. Yeah, there are several places, like see, Parikshit Maharaj is saying this verse about hearing. Srinvata Sraddhaya Nityam Granatascha Swacheshtitam Kalena Nati Dirghena Bhagavan Vishate Hridi. Like he starts guiding. Of course, Paramatma is always there with every living entity. As soon as we start hearing and taking matters seriously, so manifest within the heart means Paramatma is always there. He starts reciprocating and guiding actively. That's the point here. Yeah. Hearing is the main thing. The entire Srimad Bhagavatam is to strengthen our mind, our heart in the lotus feet of Krishna. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so there is no end of Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta, right? There is Lord Krishna is unlimited and his glorification is also unlimited. Okay, so nice to hear that. Thank you so much. We'll end here. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thanks,
Most
Hare
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Even before leaving, I still want to revise this. If someone spreads this misconception that unless we become brahmachari and sannyasi, we cannot be pure devotee, and that is not correct. And it is my argument is supported by Brahmaji statement that we can be in our social and occupational position, but we have to just develop the taste to hear more and more. What to speak of hearing, Kunti Marani says, Sravanti Gayanti, Smanti Avikshnasa, Smaranti Nandanti, Tave Hitam Jana. Just by appreciation also we get, eventually we go to Krishna, right? All that, right? So we go to Krishna. So what to speak of this actually hearing, and Kunti Marani's statement cannot be false, right? Just by appreciating or maybe sometimes helping by some money or some cash or kind or any ways, right? Maybe you can give some space to organize all sorts of things. Point is if we are favorably inclined to Krishna or not. Do we like Krishna or not? I heard in one class that the secret is not that how many Ekadasi Varta or this or that. Of course, Ekadasi is recommended by Vaishnavas, Acharyas. We should do as far as possible, like fasting. And that is all that there. But that is not, if we, rigidly just remain fully hungry, we don't eat anything, drink anything. That's not the point. As Prahlad Maharaj says, finally, that Manye Dhana Abhijana Rupa Tapa Surta Ujas, Tapa also comes, right? Tapa Surta Ujas, like that. So, Manye Dhana Abhijana Rupa Tapa Surta Ujas, like that. He says that all these things, finally he says, Bhaktya Tutos Bhagwan Gaji Utpaya, right? So, point is whether we are favorably inclined to Krishna or not. That is a very deep thing actually, because in some life throws some very adverse situation to us, whether we maintain our likeness to Krishna even in that situation or not. That is the crux actually. And feeling very insignificance, right? We are very dinata, right? In Sanskrit or Hindi, dinata, danya, and basically liking to Krishna. Whether I am Krishna's, Krishna is mine, and in any condition, I will like Krishna. That is crux, but that is not an easy thing for persons like me or myself. So it's a progressive journey, but again, that can be achieved through repeated hearing. So I will finally end here. Hare Krishna. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.